Hi there. Today we'll be talking about parental media monitoring. Regulating social media is challenging for everyone, but it is especially challenging for parents who struggle to know what is the right amount of strictness when it comes to their children's technology use. A study that interviewed parents revealed just how conflicted parents feel in their monitoring choices. There is a wide range of rules and consequences they use, and others use none, and parents are not always confident in their tactics to help their children navigate technology and social media. Many of the decisions parents make depend on their child's development. According to research, young children are not capable of regulating their own media use. Therefore, parental guidance for time and content is necessary at this age to prevent problems surrounding media use in the future. Therefore, this presentation will focus on adolescents and their growing need for independence and freedom in their lives. This graph on the right shows that between the years of 2014/2015 to 2022, 46% of US teens say they are using the internet almost constantly. So that was up from 24% in 2014, 2015 to 46% in 2022. And teens have increasing access to the internet and on their devices, and this graph shows that they're on it more as well. 46% of teens say that they use the internet almost constantly, which raises this pressing question for parents. Do parents have the right to track children's online activity for safety, or is that an invasion of their privacy? So that's the question we'll be discussing. The following are a few important terms. Parental mediation means strategies that parents use to control and regulate their children's media use. So it's parental monitoring in the context of media, which is the term is called parental mediation. Restrictive mediation refers to parents setting rules and limiting the amount of time their children have access to media content and the type of media content to which they have access. So it's rules, limitations, guidelines, um, more restrictive type of monitoring. And then active mediation refers to parents' effort to have discussions and conversations about media with their children to promote critical thinking. So, why do parents track for safety, track their children's online use, um, or social media use, or internet use? Parents primarily worry about potential risks associated with their child's online activity and monitor it to control their internet use. Parents are usually fearful and mistrust their child's ability to stay safe online. They check a child's online activity and search for suspicious or problematic or even addictive behaviors or content. Some parents saw their child as too innocent or naive, and in one study, a parent expressed concerns about their child being blackmailed or having their identity taken or information stolen. Other fears included the impact of inappropriate content, such as violence or pornography, and the potential physiological effect of technology on the brain. Research states that parents track their child's online activity as a preliminary step before knowing how to intervene and set limits and or have conversations with their children. For instance, consequences could follow parents finding inappropriate content on their child's phone, whether that be in their music, their pictures, or on social media. So that is how they could take steps and have consequences finding this behavior. It is also a way parents can ensure their expectations are being met in regards to technology. One study found um, that more frequent and predictable monitoring and tracking involving electronics were related to weaker feelings of privacy invasion. So when teens expected these routine checks, they were more predictable, then teens were less likely to generate strong feelings of privacy invasion since the frequency of checking normalizes that behavior. On the other side, what does research say about this being an invasion of privacy for teens as parents are checking their online behavior and um, activity, their online activity? Is that an invasion of privacy? Research says that adolescents have an increased need for autonomy and a growing desire for privacy. Teens find parents checking, they could find it disrespectful or intrusive of personal boundaries and of their independence. Nonetheless, some parents check their child's device without their child's permission or knowledge, um, and this type of parenting impacts an adolescent's sense of independence and is likely to undermine the parent-child relationship and adolescents' mental health. In the end, when parents are responsible for decisions about media behavior, the teen may be left feeling less competent and independent. Some parents have expectations of co-ownership of adolescents' information and about their online activity. And on the other hand, adolescents claim their full ownership of their information about their internet use, and they believe it belongs to the personal domain. So that's where these feelings of privacy invasion can come into play. Parents can gain access to secrets and private information as they're on their child's device, and checking electronics still generate the strongest feelings of invasion since they happen least less frequent, and because teens have high levels of control with their devices and their electronics, which is related to firmer boundaries and stronger responses to boundary breaches. And that is from this second bullet, that study. And then another study found that teens who perceived privacy invasion are more likely to respond with defensive responses to restore control over their personal boundaries that were violated. Both female and male teenagers who perceive their mother's restrictive mediation as privacy invasion reacted by deliberately concealing their internet behaviors from their mothers by changing passwords, deleting online content, or avoiding responding to their mother's online communication. This study emphasizes the importance of parents' respect for adolescents' privacy boundaries and suggests that parents should use communication-based mediation. These strategies would help regulate their child's internet behaviors more than invading their privacy, and that they can talk about that. Okay, so in my opinion, I believe that some tracking and monitoring is important for teens, especially in early adolescence. It depends on the child and their level of maturity. However, research states that adolescents still benefit from rules, regulations, and guidance from their parents. I believe it is good to periodically check for problematic or inappropriate content. I think setting rules and establishing expectations so that online checks can be more predictable, like I mentioned previously. Research also suggests explaining the reasons behind these practices to help teens understand why they are beneficial and important. Open communication is also vital so that parents and children can share. For example, children can share their feelings about boundary violation and about privacy invasion and have that open dialogue with their parents, which can strengthen their relationship and facilitate more trust in their relationship. And this allows teens to be part of the discussion, and they're less likely to feel that their privacy is being invaded when they're part of the discussion and able to have this two-sided dialogue. The reason I think tracking is necessary is that navigating the online world is overwhelming for someone who is so young. I know this because I was given an iPod, I was given an iPhone as a preteen, and I had very few restrictions. And I got social media when I was 12, and I honestly wish I had more direction or structure from my parents, since I was being exposed to so much content, such as self-harm at such a young age. Using social media turned into an internet addiction, which led to a lot of wasted time and less time with my family. I ended up deciding for myself that I wanted to delete my Instagram account because I was given so much autonomy. I took charge of my media usage, and by the time I was 18, I was able to delete my account, and I haven't gotten it back since. I haven't wanted to get it back. And because I had this autonomy granted to me from my parents, I learned to make my own decisions about media based on my internal values rather than control from my parents. So it was a two-edged sword. But for my future children, I would like to do something that is called autonomy supported media monitoring, which is rules or conversations that transfer responsibility to the teen and allow them to have more self-direction and self-regulation, kind of what I was given. But I also want to establish rules and guidelines for my children. And something that was interesting was this type of media monitoring, autonomy supported media monitoring, was associated with lower levels of internalizing problems in teens, such as anxiety and depression. This can be seen as parents placing limits on their child's media use and then engaging in that conversation, like I mentioned, where the child can share feedback and setting rules and limits. So all in all, it is important for parents to balance regulations and compliance with rules regarding media with the need to respect and support their teens' autonomy to foster a relationship of open communication and trust. Here are my sources. Thank you.